Hello, and welcome to Living Life Unstoppable podcast. I am your host, Rochelle Crow. We are happy that you have joined us today. If this is your first time listening in, we say hello and welcome. If you've joined us before, welcome back. In this podcast, we like to help and encourage our listeners to live life unstoppable in every area of their lives. And today, this episode, we're talking about strategies and mindsets for effectively bouncing back after experiencing setbacks and what some people like to call failures. We'll dive into practical steps for self-compassion, learning from mistakes, and rebuilding and navigating future challenges. So we're going to start off with some major points on how to bounce back when you have a setback. I don't really like to use the term failure, but I do know people tend to relate failure to a setback. I don't like to use the term failure because I don't think we actually fail at something. I think everything is a learning experience. Even if it doesn't go the way we would like it to go, it's still a learning experience. It may set you back, and you may have a setback for like a week or two, a month or two, or a couple of years. But I don't consider it a failure if you learn from it. You can learn from what happened and rebuild and navigate for your future to not make that mistake again. So I may sometimes say failure in this podcast, and I may just say setback, but just know that I'm talking about the same things when I'm talking about a setback or a failure. And it just depends on what you feel that you have had a setback in. It could be in a relationship. It could be a setback on your job. It could be a setback in your finances. Whatever that setback looks like for you, that's what we're talking about today. So apply these principles, apply these key points to whatever is a setback to you. So first we have to understand our setback. We have to understand what happened. And how do we take what happened? How do we learn from what happened and not make the same mistake again? So in this step, when you're understanding the setback, you need to truly step back and just look at it and look at what happened. How did this happen? How was I not prepared? Let's say if you're starting a new business and you're jumping out there and you're getting going and you start this business, but the clients aren't there. And you view that as a setback. What did you not do to prepare yourself for the clients? Or what did you not do to prepare to get the clients to come in? What platforms are you not using? Should you be using more of social media? Should you be connecting with people locally, finding a group that does the same thing that you're doing to connect locally, to have that accountability partner? So what are you doing? What did you not do that caused that setback? But how do I learn from this? You understand this happened. I didn't get the clients to come in like I thought I would in month 1. How do I, without quitting, because you don't want to quit, you don't want to give up. So without quitting, how could I do this better? How can I attract the clients that I need to attract? How can, in my relationship, if there's a setback in your relationship, what part can I play? What role can I play to make things better, to make my relationship strive? On my job, maybe you felt like you should have gotten a promotion that you didn't get. What am I not doing to stand out so that my boss can see me and say that I deserve a promotion? Whatever the case may be that you feel is a setback, or you may have applied for a higher position and you didn't get it. What was it that I didn't prepare for, or what happened that caused a setback, that caused me not to achieve it. So first, recognize and understand your setback. Understand why it was a setback. What did I not do on my part? But recognize the setback, but don't focus on the negative so much. You recognize, okay, maybe I didn't attract the clients that I wanted to attract because I wasn't on social media. I didn't have a social media presence. Okay, I didn't have a social media presence. Let me work on that this month. This next month, let me work on my social media presence to bring in the clients. So it's things like that you understand what caused the setback and how you can move forward. So it's about learning. That's when you learn from your setback. And then the next step, acknowledging your emotions. The emotions are real. And I never want anybody not to feel like they can't acknowledge their emotions. The emotions that you have are real. It's okay to be disappointed. It's okay to be upset that things didn't work out the way you wanted them to work out, but don't live there. Don't live in the negative part. Don't live in that negative way. It affects what you're going to do next. So it's you need to acknowledge and process the emotions that come along with the setback. But don't stay there. Don't let it cause you to not be able to move forward. Because a lot of times, and I think we talked about this in the mindset episode, a lot of times we allow our emotions to get us in a place where we're stuck and we can't move forward and we can't move beyond. And we're just sitting in that feeling of I'm not good enough, or sitting in a feeling of, well, it wasn't successful this month, so it's probably not going to be successful next month. Sitting in that type of feeling, no, be disappointed, but understand what you need to do better. It's okay. Acknowledge the disappointment. It's okay to process the disappointment or whatever feeling it is that you're feeling, whatever emotion you're feeling about the setback, but don't live there. Don't park there. Sit there, acknowledge, recognize, and move on. Okay? Because if you don't, that negative emotion or that emotion of whatever you're feeling about that setback will consume you, and it will hinder you from making progress. It'll hinder you from moving forward. And the goal is that you want to bounce back. That's the whole point of it all. You want to bounce back from the setback. You want to bounce back from, if you end up in a divorce, you want to bounce back from the divorce. If you lost a job, you want to bounce back from the loss of a job. Whatever that setback is, you want to bounce back. Acknowledge the emotion, process it, and move on. Use the emotion to push you to do better, push you to your next level. But don't let the emotion consume you where it doesn't allow you to turn this setback into something positive. So when you are trying to rebound, you need to have a moment of self-reflection. And that goes back to what we said when you understand your failure. So you have a moment of self-reflection and identify the lessons learned. It's important to know what you want to achieve and how you didn't achieve that goal, whatever the case may be. And what did you learn? So for instance, for me, I had at one point I had started my life coaching business, and I had just gotten a divorce, had moved to another state with my boys. We were starting a new school, all these things that were rolling. And I had started my life coaching business, and I just wasn't doing anything with it. And it wasn't working for me at that time. And so I had put it to the back burner. And I'm just going to be honest with you. I put it to the back burner for a few years. And I wasn't trying to do anything with it because my focus was on other things. And I was just like, I don't have the time. I don't have the clients. I came up with all the excuses as to why I wasn't succeeding. And the whole time, it was just me. It was me not focusing on what my goal should have been, not putting myself out there, not having a presence like I needed to have to launch this business, to be successful, to have the clients that I needed. So it's all about the self-reflection. So I had to take time and say, hey, is this really what I want to do? Do I want to? And of course, I feel like God has put a call on my life to help people to achieve what's better for their lives, to live an unstoppable life. That's what it's all about. But I had to reflect back and realize where I wasn't putting in the effort, where I wasn't doing anything, and I was sitting back waiting for people to come to me. Well, how are people going to come to me if I'm not making a presence online, if I'm not doing anything to attract the clients, or if I'm saying, oh, I'm just too tired to do this, or oh, I got to go to this sporting event with this kid. It was so many excuses. So I had to self-reflect, and I had to identify before bouncing back in, I had to identify the lessons that I learned during that time period. What have I learned that's going to help me be successful this time around? If this is truly what I want to do, what have I learned? So I have to look inward. And I have to make sure that I know what my goals are to achieve so that I can do whatever I need to do to make that happen. But keep those lessons right here in my back pocket so I won't do these things again. But I can learn from them and I can move forward. Seeking support and building a strong network also helps when you're trying to rebound, when you're trying to bounce back. What support group do you have? Are people in your circle encouraging you? I think we talked about this with the mindset episode as well. It's important that you have people speaking positive things, people who are uplifting you, people who are supporting you and pushing you to be greater. What network are you in? Do you have people that are in your field that you, like, let's say if this is a business, do you have people in your field that you can follow, that you can get advice from, that can probably be a mentor towards you? Do you have people that can support you? If it's in your marriage, let's say you're having struggles in your marriage, do you have a counselor? Do you have a marriage coach, someone who can help give you tips to help with your marriage so your marriage can be successful? Do you have a network of people around you who support marriage and not speak against marriage? Because that's also important, that you make sure that the people in your network are people who support that thing and not speak against it. Because even though it could be your family member, it could be somebody that's been your friend for 30 years. But if they don't believe in the thing that you're trying to accomplish, they're not going to speak life into it. So you need to make sure you put people in your network, in your circle, that's going to speak life into that situation. You don't need somebody who doesn't believe in marriage in your circle when you're having struggles in your marriage, because they're going to speak on the negative. They're going to agree about every negative thing of that person, because either they don't believe in marriage, they're struggling in their own relationship, or whatever the case may be. So you need to surround yourself around people who are going to encourage you. Yes, times are hard. Times get hard in marriage. Yes, this may be a struggle or whatever, but you need to seek that counsel. Somebody that's going to support you and push you to, like, hey, you got to work on it. Don't just give up. Work on it. Whatever the case may be. Building a business. It's hard to build a new business. It's hard to come from the ground up and build a business. But you have people around you who support you and who say, I believe you can start that restaurant. Your cooking is so great. I will come to your restaurant once a week to eat, whatever the case may be. I will repost your post on Instagram or whatever to get the word out there about your restaurant, because I believe in you. And word of mouth, when people believe in you and they start telling people about you and your product or whatever the case may be, word of mouth will help you get those clients that you need. Because when people listen to other people, I had somebody say this, I think it was yesterday, we were in a conversation about something, and they said, well, I've never met anybody who used this product. And I was someone who had used this product, and I was able to give them my feedback. And I said, this is how it worked for me. And that I like this product and I've been using this product for however long it was or whatever. And we had a discussion about that. That was word of mouth. And they said, oh, what, I think I'm going to try it. They had already heard about the product, but didn't know anybody who had used the product. So when I was able to tell them, they said, oh, I think I'm going to try it. Word of mouth will get you out there. So who are you connected with? What network are you connecting yourself with? Are you connected to people who are going to support you, who's going to tell other people about you? Or are you just connected to some people and they're just going to sit on your gift? They're not going to do more than, oh, that's good, I'm glad you started that business, and leave it at that. You need to connect yourself with people who are going to be strong, positive influences in your life, in your marriage, in your business. You know, whatever it is that you want, this goal that you're trying to achieve. Practice self-care and maintain well-being. So a lot of times, you know, when we don't achieve what we would like to achieve and we feel that it's a failure or a setback, you kind of beat yourself up. You can get in that where you're beating yourself up. But instead of beating yourself up, practice self-care. Say, okay, yes, I made this mistake, but how can I bounce back from it? What lesson did I learn from it? You know, don't sit there and just say, oh, I'm not going to be successful. This is never going to work for me. My marriage is never going to get beyond this issue that we have. We can never work this out. No, don't sit there. Change your mindset and say, well, I want my marriage to work, or I want this business plan to work. How do I revise it? How do I rebuild to make sure that I can accomplish it? So practicing self-care, that may also mean coming up with techniques to quiet the self-criticism, because we are our worst enemies, because we can get in our heads and we can talk down about ourselves and we can talk down about a situation. But changing your mindset, think about techniques that you can possibly say to yourself when you're starting to get in your head and speak negative. Nope, I am a child of God. I like to repeat. I am a big Bible reader, so I like to quote scriptures back to myself. No, I am a child of God. I am made in God's image. Therefore, I'm not a failure. I'm not unsuccessful because God is not unsuccessful. He didn't create me that way. So I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So I can make this situation work. I can turn this situation around. Show kindness to yourself during this difficult time. It's hard to, when you're dealing with something and you have a setback, it's hard. It's hard to start a new business. It's hard to overcome challenges, whatever that case may be. Talk nice to yourself. Be kind to yourself and make yourself realize it's hard sometimes, but I can still achieve it. I can still do it. Set new and realistic goals. Sometimes we set goals for ourselves that's just way too far ahead. In your first month of business, saying, oh, I want to generate $10,000, let's just say, depending on what you're doing. And that may not be feasible for the first month. So set realistic goals and work to achieve them. You know, maybe in your relationship, you want to set a goal where you don't argue for a week. Well, depending on how much you argue, let's set a realistic goal. Is that too unrealistic for you and your spouse? You know, set realistic goals to achieve what you ultimately want to get to. Going back to the mindset, cultivating a growth mindset. You know, you embrace the challenges that come your way, but believe in the ability to develop skills over time. So again, we did an episode a few weeks ago about your mindset and having an unstoppable mindset. So if you haven't listened to that episode, I suggest you go back and listen to it, because this particular episode kind of goes hand in hand with it when it comes to your mindset. But embrace the challenges and grow from them. You know, okay, this is going to be a challenge to get 10,000K a month right now, but I'm learning how I can make progress to get there. So I'm cultivating a mindset, and I'm setting realistic goals to help me get to where I want to go, the growth where I want to be. And when you work on your mindset, that's already growth right there. The mindset is the one thing that will help you in any situation, your relationships, your businesses, on your job, whatever the case may be. It's all about your mindset. You start with your mindset first, and then you build, and you can accomplish a lot. Because your mindset, if your mindset is on the positive, you have all that fuel behind you, pushing you to try again. Okay, that's a setback. Guess what? I can keep going. Okay, let me learn from that. Because challenges are always going to be there, but it's how you go through those challenges, how you get through that, what you learn from them to help you grow. And so after doing all this, it's time to rebuild. Okay, rebuild. Anticipate the obstacles. You already know it's going to be some challenges that's going to come your way. How are you going to overcome them? I like to think about like having a toolkit where you kind of put down all the things that you've challenged, that has been challenges for you, that have set you back. What lessons have you learned from that? And so that when you come across another challenge, you'll be like, oh, yeah, before when I had this challenge, I did this. I learned this. So I know that I can accomplish this. I can overcome this particular challenge. It's all about being prepared for what might happen or what might come your way that, that can be a setback. And you don't have to always use things as a setback. It could be, it doesn't always have to be like a failure or a setback. It could just be a stepping stone. Oh, well, that didn't work, but let me keep going. Let me keep going. Let me not stop here, because I know what my goal is, what I would like to accomplish in the end. Get a mentor. Get somebody that's in that area, or maybe if you're on a job and you're wanting a promotion, well, get somebody that's maybe already at that level that you want to be, or at a different level, but just that can help you realize what you need to do to grow on your job so that you can get that promotion. Get a mentor with somebody, if it's for your marriage. Get a counselor. Go to couples groups. Join couple groups. A lot of times churches have different groups that you can be a part of, and a lot of them have marriage groups. Get with other like-minded couples who can encourage you, who you can learn from, that you can get mentorship from. Building a business. Who has done this before? Who do I know that has built a business, who has built a successful business, who might can mentor me and help me to do the same? And it doesn't necessarily have to be that someone who, when it comes to a business, who is in the same area, but as long as they've had a successful business, they can give you some key points. But then still find somebody in your area that could be in your network of what you're doing. When you're thinking long term, celebrate the small victories. A lot of times we don't, and I'm guilty of this too, we don't celebrate the small victories. We don't celebrate the small things because we're so busy focused on the bigger thing. So say, for instance, I had someone who contacted me, who listened to one of my podcast episodes and contacted me about that episode and was telling me how much it helped them, how much they learned, what they learned from it, how it was going to help them in whatever area that they were talking about. And that could be something that I could have overlooked, because I could have been like, okay, I'm glad it helped, whatever. But no, that's a big victory to me. That's a victory to me that I needed to celebrate, because I told God, if you only send me here for one person, hey, that's a victory, because that was one person, one episode, one person that someone got something from. And they actually reached out to me to let me know they listened to this episode and how that episode helped them. That's a small victory for me to continue, that can push me to continue to do what I'm doing. Continue to learn. Look for books, blogs, podcasts, or whatever, people on social media or whatever that have accomplished what you're trying to accomplish, are on their way to accomplish, but they're moving. They're progressing. They're doing something you aren't doing yet. Always keep learning. You never stop learning so that you can do, accomplish your goal, and you can be successful in what you would like to be successful in. And also, when it comes to that toolkit that I was just talking about, that you can use, Bible verses help me. Quotes, other people who I'm following. Like, I have people that I know who speak on certain topics. This is what their calling is on certain topics. That when I need a boost in that area, I go to that person's page, and I might look at some quotes or watch some videos that they've posted, or whatever the case may be. But always look for ways to continue to learn, ways that are going to continue to boost you, keep pushing you to achieve what you're trying to achieve. Bouncing back from the setback. Don't let that setback keep you down. Bounce back from it. I think about myself, like a setback something I considered a setback in my life was that I got a divorce. I never wanted to be married and get a divorce. That was never on my bingo card, as they say. I wanted to have a successful marriage, a successful family, and it just didn't work out for me. And so that was a setback, because it took me a little while to get over what I wanted that didn't happen. The disappointment, what I felt like was a failure. It took me a minute to get back, but I didn't stay there. I surrounded myself with people who prayed for me. I surrounded myself with people who made me do life. I had a circle of friends who made me do life, who invite me to go places and get me out of the house. I surrounded myself around people who would pray, like I said, pray for me, who would encourage me. I found people on social media who either had gone through what I was going through, or just having that hope, being able to get something from people who have hope, to push hope back into my life, to give me hope. So I was able to bounce back from them. I was able to start living again. And it did take me a little minute to get out of it, because I was going through depression and different things like that. But I also had my boys too that were looking at me, and they were pushing me, because I had to do life to support them. I had to do life. I had to get up out of the funk in order to be a good mother to them. So you can bounce back. You can bounce back, and you can bounce back, and it can be greater. It could be greater than where you were when it didn't work out. When whatever you had, again, I don't like to use the word failure, but whatever failed you and it didn't work out the way you had it planned, you can bounce back. I am a testimony to being able to bounce back and living a life that is beautiful. Living a life that's full of God, living a life that's full of joy, living a life that's full of love, living a life that's full of peace. You can bounce back from whatever it is. Just don't get stuck in that negative part. You look at it, you learn from it, and you bounce back. Surround yourself is so important. And I know I keep saying that, but it's so important who you surround yourself with. Because when I'm having a down time, like a down moment, my mental is down, who is around me that's going to lift me up? I know people I can reach out to. I know people who I can text. I know people who I can call. I know people I can say, hey, I need prayer right now. Can you pray for me? I know where to go. I know what my circle looks like. I know what my network looks like. Surround yourself by people who are going to help you bounce back, who are going to push you to your greatness, push you to your living your life unstoppable. Continue to learn. Just learn from everything that you're doing. Learn from every mistake. Learn from every setback. But don't give up. Don't stop there. Even if you have to change things, you might have gone down one path, but then in this lesson, in this setback, you learn, okay, maybe I need to do this instead. maybe more, this is more in line with what I really want to achieve, my long-term goals. Whatever the case may be, take time to realize what it is and self-reflect and learn and get back up again. Don't sit, don't lay in the setback. Don't lay in that negative part. Get back up and live. Rebound. That's the key word. Rebound, rebuild. Because there's so much more out there for you. There's life unstoppable out there for you. So I recommend looking, like I said, looking for books, looking for bloggers, podcast hosts, maybe church groups or any groups in your area that might be along the same path that you're going on, that you're trying to, whatever it is you're trying to achieve. But make sure you're reaching out, that you get you a network of people that can help you. And if you need a coach to help get you going, of course, I am a life coach. I'm here to help you in any way that I may be able to help you. And if I'm not a good fit for you, like I always say, I know other life coaches, I know other counselors who can help you achieve what you're trying to achieve. But make sure you follow us on in our community. Follow us on Instagram. We're at Marriage Unstop1, MARRIAGEUNSTOP1 on Instagram. On TikTok, we are Rachelle Crowe 2020. That's RACHELLCROWE 2020. Of course, you can go to our website and find everything on our website, lifeunstoppable.com. We're also on YouTube at Rachelle Crowe 778. You can email in at rhcrowe, CROWE, at marriageunstoppable.com. If you have any questions, if you would like to share any testimonies that you would like for us to share with the community, or if you just need help, if you're looking for help and ways that we might be able to help you, please reach out to us, because we want everybody to bounce back from a setback. We want everybody to be living this unstoppable life that God has created for us to live. So just if you would like to share testimonies or share your story of how you bounce back, and we can share it with with our other listeners or anything like that. If you, like I said, if you just need someone to talk to, reach out to us and we'll see what service we can provide for you, or if we know somebody that will be able to provide a better service. As always, we thank you guys for listening in. We thank you for joining us each week. We try to get these episodes out every Thursday as we can. And sometimes life does happen where we aren't able to put an episode out, or it may be that we might have been on a trip or something. I don't know. But whatever the case may be, we try our best to get an episode out every week. You can let us know how these podcasts are helping you. We love to hear these stories of how they're helping. And any topics that you might want us to discuss, send those topics in. We'll do our best to be able to talk, do the topics that you would like, or get a guest speaker in to help us with those topics. And if you would like to be a guest on our Living Life Unstoppable podcast, reach out and let us know. As always, I like to say I love you guys for real. We'll see you on the next episode. Peace.